Before I got into Taylor's world, and what a world, I was in a place where I had done some of the work on myself. I had unlocked some of the things about myself, but I really wasn't fully integrated with the woman that I knew that I wanted to be and could be. There were still pieces in my life that didn't make sense or that I felt like I was being held back, and traditional counseling really wasn't helping. And so when I crossed paths with Taylor, I immediately was drawn in by her essence, by her level of standards, the way that she talked about her work, and it just felt like this is the information that I get to learn to upgrade me to the next level. My life before meeting Taylor was also very just like out of touch with who I was. I think I knew parts of myself, but I didn't really understand at the core who I was or who I am as a woman, um, fully in my being, fully in my power, and understanding the steps of how do I get there. I was very anxious. I was still looking at at men as, distractions, and didn't really have a good, clear picture of what I really wanted for my life as a whole. And I think Taylor came into my life at just the right time. So when I first got into Taylor's programs, the biggest thing that came up for me was my shock at how much fear and scarcity I had around men, and how men really didn't feel safe for me, and even making sense of what that meant, and how that showed up in my life, and getting to release a lot of those ideas and those beliefs that were deeply ingrained and deeply held within me. She really made the process feel gentle while also like containing the power behind the work. Another thing that I learned being in Taylor's courses was how to recognize when my little girl is showing up and who she is, and how to love her and listen to her, and how to really step into this woman that I imagine myself as, and release more of the little girl through the techniques and the exercises that Taylor brings you through in such a beautiful, beautiful way, where you still feel like you are honoring the little girl without letting her run your life. The way that my relationship with men and the masculine totally shifted, truly like a night and day shift. My relationship before with men in my life, including family members and coworkers and just men out and about, there was some sort of friction, or, you know, keeping men at like a 6 foot distance. And when I started working with Taylor, I got to this place where I actually was able to receive from men in the most beautiful way, and still do, and allowed myself to see them as safe and beautiful and human and kind and generous and true, like loving beings. And so it radically shifted my view. Men started, I've had men that have taken me to places, have bought really great gifts for me, have bought my coffee when I'm just hanging out in a coffee shop. I have had men rush to get the door for me, just because of the way that I'm showing up in the world and the way that Taylor teaches. And I've also gotten to experience some really beautiful connections with men since working with Taylor. The relationships on a dating perspective has just been upgraded to the level where I actually know what I like in men, the qualities that I like, and how to identify, those qualities in men and actually see them and give them credit and be able to receive that back from them. So it's been life-changing um, just to experience men on that level. The biggest shift that I see in myself and how I interact in the world since working with Taylor truly is night and day. So I started working with Taylor, I believe it was July of 2024. And the shifts that I've seen in myself, I've seen massive shifts in the way that I approach my career and the way that I use my skills and my skill set and talents in the workplace. I have just totally transformed the way that I see relationships with others. I have totally seen a shift in the way that I date and how I show up. And I also just feel like my life is so much more beautiful because it's coming from this core place, which Taylor taught me of how to actually tap into myself, understand what that means, understand who I am, and allow that to come up and start having that be reflected in my reality. And those shifts have happened like really quickly. If I were to go back and talk to myself from 2024 when I was on the fence with Taylor about do I work with her or not, in the closer container, I would say 100% yes, jump in with all feet. And it's funny because I actually did feel like my higher self prompted me to work with Taylor at that time and said, go ahead and take the risk. And the results have just been tenfold in my life. So yeah, the way that I show up and that I play with life and interact with life, the spark has been ignited, and I am way more grounded in myself, in the unknown, and in my self-trust. Taylor is a magical, magical human being and woman. Working with Taylor, getting to understand yourself and getting to understand the things that keep you from the life and the reality that you want is invaluable. Taylor has changed the trajectory of my life in not just in the way that I date and approach men, not just in career, but even just how I approach myself and my being and the significance that I carry within me. She has really helped uncover the blocks that have kept me small, that have kept me from feeling like the woman that I want to be and embody. She has really helped clear that out, and she does it with such a swift precision where she does it in love and she can see it so clearly that if you really open up your heart and listen to the feedback and allow yourself to sit back and recognize that she really is holding the vision for you and a better life, you will go so far with working with Taylor because she just has that magical gift of being able to spot it, isolate it, pull it out, release it, dissolve it, and move on. And I have not, I've worked with a lot of different coaches and therapists over the years. Um, and she nails it every single time because of how tapped in she is with herself and her work and the atmosphere, the environment that we live in, the energy that we live in. She is totally tapped into that.